Okay, we got part 3 of this awesome trilogy. We got Deception, Lies, and Valve from your boy CoffeeZilla. Okay, let me see.
I got bribed to make a video exposing a single Counter-Strike casino, but I decided to expose the whole industry instead, which led us from pitchforks to people rushing stages, millionaires making excuses, and esports teams who say they can't survive without gambling. The lack of
Well, here's my question. Is it the same in sports? Probably no, right? Esports team can't survive without gambling. Can real sports survive without gambling? Or has like real sports, as long as there has been real sports, has there always been gambling on sports? I mean, that would be my question. And if the answer is no, you can't have sports without gambling, then I would say, well, then you have to let gambling be a thing in video games. I mean, yeah, sure, I'm down with like not promoting it to little kids and whatnot, but yeah, I mean, fuck it, just regulate it, dude.
any accountability, making me wonder about the biggest casino of them all, Valve, the owner of Counter-Strike. Now, if you've watched the last few episodes, you know there's a lot of opinions about what the problem is, who's the villain, who's the good guy. Hardly anyone agrees on anything. But I did find one thing that nearly everyone agrees on.
I started gambling on Counter-Strike when I was probably 13 years old.
13 years old.
I think it was 14.
Valve definitely does have an underage gambling problem.
I think Valve does have an underage gambling problem.
Yes, it is underage gambling disguised because it holds real life value.
Because it holds real life value. But the issue is that there are so many lines that are being blurred. Like, Valve isn't outwardly promoting gambling. Like, hey, kids. They're not saying, hey, kids, go gamble. They're not saying that. The issue is like the 1 or 2 degrees of separation that leads to gambling from a video game and skins having like some sort of like real world value. I mean, it's the same reason why freaking Banana is still like in the top 10 for Steam games. It's horrible.
Underage, middle age, overage, however you want to slice it.
When I was young,
I mean, nobody gives a shit about the is gambling good or bad for society argument. The issue is Valve promoting it to kids.
that's the most easily influential age to get people in, because I can't go to a real casino and gamble.
Like what I did back then was I went to our local video game store, bought like $20 worth of Steam credits. I would buy skins with those $20 credits, no verification at all.
Right, this is the most consistent answer I've received in a story where no one agrees on anything. Underage gambling is rampant on Counter-Strike. Not only that, Valve has known this was a problem for at least 8 years. And for those 8 years, Valve has done things here and there, but they've never seriously tackled offshore gambling.
70% of CSGO gamblers started as minors, according to YouTube report.
Issues, with some speculating the reasons why.
I think they have all the responsibility. I mean, you could pass me some of that if you want, but ultimately they're the kingpin, reaping in all of the money, or majority of the money, and there's a reason why they haven't killed it yet. They've possessed the power for all these years, but they allow it to go, and I feel like they do the bare minimum crackdown to allow it to keep.
I mean, honestly, like, how many employees are at Valve? How many employees at Valve? I mean, it's... According to information leaked from an antitrust lawsuit, Valve in 2021, the company employed 300 plus people. How many employees at Valve in 2024? I think it was like way left. Okay, it's around 350. Okay. 350 people. are responsible for monitoring Steam or anything that goes on in Steam. Okay.
Operating.
That's right. Now, the person you just heard has ulterior motives for putting the blame on someone else. Either way, today I want to investigate Valve's role in Counter-Strike gambling, how we got here, what Valve can do about it, and how they've been fighting the change that is so desperately needed. So let's start from 2013, when loot boxes were first introduced to the game. In an update, Valve called the arms deal.
This was it? Loot boxes? It always goes back to the damn loot boxes. New stock weapons, over 100 unique weapon finishes, weapon case exclusives. Buy the esports key, support competitive esports. Oh my god. Players. Stop valuing buyable skins. Oh my god. Gamers are retarded. They're so stupid. I swear to God, man. They buy and they throw their money at anything they think is shiny.
It was first described as all the illicit thrills of black market weapons trafficking without any of the danger, which is kind of true. They did create a black market of skin betting. The only thing that I find false here is the quote, without any of the danger, because if you look at the wrong casino, this guy might show up at your house.
Oh, yeah.
Either way, the arms deal update was the start of Counter-Strike gambling as we know it, with the introduction specifically of loot boxes. We're going to open one here so you can experience what that's like. First, you take out your wallet, pay $2.50, case opens, and a wheel
Let's go, big money!
of varying rarity pass by. Knives and gloves are particularly because they're particularly rare, but usually you get an item worth pennies. Now, you might notice this whole process, especially the near misses, resembles a slot machine.
Because it is a slot machine.
I believe that's not an accident. This is the same company that hired experimental psychologists to design parts of their games.
So my name is Mike Amender. I'm an experimental psychologist at Valve, applying knowledge and methodologies.
Oh, why would little old Valve need an experimental psychologist? This is like a software company and also a hardware company when they sell the Steam Deck. Why would you need a psychologist in any of this?
Some psychology to game design. So thinking about how
what fucking game? Counter-Strike? Deadlock? You need a fucking psychologist to make one of these damn games? Get the hell out of here. This is the most copious shit I've ever heard. I need a psychologist to make a game.
knowledge of human behavior can impact the choices that we're making. The hope is that we can take what we know about psychology, about the predictable ways humans might react or respond, and apply it to game design and induce various responses or particular responses.
What responses are we trying to tease out from the gamers?
Right. Valve is a game studio that uses psychology to manipulate user behavior, and it's harmless.
All games do this though, but the main differentiating factor is what is the developer trying to get the player to do? Is the developer trying to get the player to just play the game in a certain way, or try to reward the player for doing certain things? Okay, yeah, that's fine, great, whatever. But if you're trying to manipulate the player to buy microtransactions, it's not hard for a normal person to feel how slimy that is.
In some areas, when optimizing for
but that happens in business everywhere, Cornel. You're being manipulated everywhere else in life. But when a little old game developer / Valve Steam does it, it's what do you call it? They're scrutinized to such a degree. Yeah, you can make that argument too. You know, if I'm looking at a goddamn food commercial, and the commercial's trying to manipulate me into being hungry and wanting to buy the juicy burger, even though that's not cheese dripping out of the burger, it's probably like glue or something. It's like, oh my god, it actually works. Oh my god, orange and yellow everywhere. I just feel hungry because those colors make me hungry. Oh my god, steam coming off the burger. I can only imagine what it smells like. crispy lettuce, juicy piece of meat, lighting, filters, sound. All these things are done to manipulate you. But again, the whole differentiating thing is I don't really know any kids that can like OD on like food because they feel like they need to spend money on food because they got manipulated into spending money on food from a commercial or something. It's different than trying to get kids to buy loot boxes. Well, if you want to sell items, why not just sell the item at a fixed price and don't leave this little gambling aspect to it? Since when does implementing the gambling aspect of the loot box improve the player's experience? How does that happen? It doesn't. It doesn't improve. That's the thing.
For fun or excitement, but when we look at loot boxes, what is Valve optimizing for? What behaviors are they trying to cause when they make their loot boxes look like a slot? And the answer, I believe, is they want you to just spend more money.
Yeah.
Making a slot.
I would love to hear the reasons Valve thinks that they designed the loot box that way.
Simulator has been incredibly effective for that. In total, some estimates are that 1.9 billion cases.
Wait, what was the screen?
Spend more money. And making a slot simulator has been incredibly effective for that. In total, some.
Okay, CS2 case tracker estimates total amount of cases ever unboxed. Okay, coffee. I can't even read this. Okay, discontinued is orange. Oh wait, over here we got. This is in the hundreds of tens and hundreds of millions. It's like over there. Down here. Oh, this is like each case. This is orange is discontinued. Green is confirmed rare. Blue is actively dropping. Yellow is purchasable. Well, I don't. Okay. There's not a lot of purchasable. There's like this bar that went up. And then gallery. Confirmed rare. Confirmed case. I don't know what that word is. But chroma case. Chroma 2 case. Falchion case. Shadow case. Revolver case. Case. Look at a case. Ooh, Operation Hydra case. Clutch case. Oh, that was a big one. Clutch. Oh, they used the word clutch. Prisma case. Shattered web cases. Oh, what's this other big one? Fracture case. Dreams and nightmares case. Where's the XX Shadow Sephiroth 420 no scope case? That's what I want to see. What are we doing here?
Estimates are that 1.9 billion cases have been sold.
Oof.
$2.50 per case. That's
That's almost 5 billion. 5 billion just from cases from CS. Holy shit. 5 billion? Would this be the new shark on Shark Tank? Like the new big shark? Like everybody knows Mark Cuban's the biggest shark on. Wait, Mark Cuban net worth. Oh, Mark Cuban's still the biggest shark on the Shark Tank. Even more so than little old Valve. Okay. Damn, I didn't even know. Like when I first started watching Shark Tank, I knew like Mark Cuban was like 1 billion, but now he's like almost 6 billion. Holy shit.
4.9 billion for Valve, all spent on video game cosmetics. You can then trade these on the Steam store, which all gets Valve even more money because they take a cut. Last year alone, Counter-Strike made about $1 billion opening cases.
The skins update was a big change for the community, giving you something you can buy, something that you can customize your guns.
It's done with
Wait.
Giving you something you can buy.
Giving you something you can buy.
Something that you can customize your guns.
Something you can customize your guns. Bro, one of the best implementations of gun customization happened in Call of Duty, hilarious no less, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Does anybody remember that? COD Ops 2 gun customization. Please don't be any dicks. Let's see. Okay, well, anyway, it's not really showing up here, but regardless, what they did in Black Ops 2 was they implemented a sticker and layer format to where you could put something on, let's say, it wasn't your guns. It was what was it? Your, what do you call it? Your like player profile pic. And I think that was like a pretty good start. They could have implemented it for guns, but whatever. But what you had is like a bunch of shapes that you could manipulate, turn around, and like add faders to. You could change the colors, and then given enough time and enough effort, you could literally make anything. Like any image you wanted to, and you could just make that like a profile pic, or I don't think it was ever on gun skins. Actually thinking back, it was always like your standard like red tiger, blue tiger, gold, diamond. But still, why not give the players a system to where they can customize their own shit and give the player the power? I mean, you can filter for like bad images and naughty images now. You got fucking AI, for Christ's sake.
It's done where it doesn't necessarily impact gameplay, but it gives people this exciting element to keep coming back and keep playing to get more skins.
Wow.
You might be surprised to learn.
It gives the player an exciting element to come back and get more skins. Really? I mean, you're kind of hinging and hoping that the player gives a shit about looking cool in front of his friends to begin with.
And that although Valve designed a machine that looks like gambling, Valve actually insists that it's not. This is because of a loophole where technically Valve doesn't let you cash out your skins. You can sell them for money for your Steam wallet, but you can't convert that Steam wallet for cash. So the skins are technically worth nothing in the real world. They're just worth something in Steam's marketplace, meaning their slot machine of skins.
It's literally just poker chips.
Isn't gambling at all, or that's what they would say.
It's literally just poker chips. It's a virtual poker chip factory. That's what it is. A poker chip has no intrinsic value in the real world. It only has value in the designated casino. Wow.
The expected value is actually zero. And all that sounds great, except
it's an
for the
NFT.
fact that obviously you can go to these third-party sites and get real money, real crypto. You can also go sell them on trading websites, which is also a huge part of this economy, where you can go sell your skins for cash. You never have to interface with the slot machine side of it. So this idea that skins aren't worth money is just not true. It's just that Valve isn't directly allowing cash outs, which is a loophole that allows people of all ages to open loot boxes, trade skins for money, all without showing ID. It's worth saying this loophole isn't new. It's the same thing pachinko parlors use in Japan, because there, gambling is illegal. But pachinko...
In Japan, it's illegal to play the lottery and also bet on horse racing, bicycle racing, motorcycle racing, and powerboat racing. All other forms of gambling are illegal under Article 185 of the Penal Code.
Parlors are gambling, but technically not, because when you gamble, instead of winning cash...
I just don't get it. Like, this type of gambling, it doesn't make sense to me. There is absolutely zero skill in it. Where you just hit a button and then hopefully it's like 77777. Jackpot, jackpot, jackpot. It doesn't, I don't get it. I don't think I'll ever get it. I do understand there is kind of like an egotistical thing around betting between two teams or two fighters or something like that. Or like on a tournament or like some players, like, oh, who do you think is going to win the tournament? What team is going to win the Super Bowl? Like, I get stuff like that. But, or shit, like maybe bet on yourself. Like if you're the one in there, I mean, shit. But most of the time that stuff is like usually illegal. If like you're a top tier, I don't know, let's say fighter, you're gonna verse another dude and you could just throw the match and then you put all your money on the other guy. Yeah, I get it. Kind of like rigging the match.
You win these small silver balls, which once again, you can't cash out in the parlor. You have to go to a third-party vendor.
It's because you're not allowed to cash out at the pachinko parlor.
それはなんで別にあるんですか？そこでお金のやり取りしたら犯罪なんで、犯罪ってかギャンブルになっちゃうんで、景品をもらうって体で景品をもらって、それを近くの監禁所でお金に変えてるからセーフっていう認識です一応。網目をくぐってる。
So there's a loophole. Yeah, I heard that's a gray area.
Reminiscent of exactly what Valve does
Ugh.
too. You can't cash it out in the Steam store. You can only cash it out on third-party sites. It's just gambling with extra steps. However,
why can't the damn United States law amend this and fucking fix it? Because clearly Valve doesn't want to do anything with it. They're just letting it ride. Like, hey, we made $1 billion, or we sold $5 billion worth of cases so far since the release of the loot boxes. We're not stopping it. We like money. We're not gonna nerf ourselves.
one player of the game explained to me that even this is a pretty weak excuse.
Has anyone explained to you the Steam decks? So this right here, it's the maxed out version. I think it's like 650 spent in Steam funds. Now, how do you get Steam funds? You can put money on, you can sell stuff on the store, you can unbox a case, get a $1,000 knife, sell it, and then get this. So items don't have value. How do I buy this?
Yeah, he makes a good point.
Yeah.
I think it's pointless to argue too long against these loopholes, though, because there's millions of arguments, some used by Valve, other used by Counter-Strike casinos, for why gambling isn't gambling. You have Clash's sweepstakes loophole.
It is gambling. Users may open these free drops or tiles without making any deposits. Oh, this is the hype drop one.
Hype drops, you never lose money loophole. You have CSGO roll saying you can only cash out skins. Everyone in this story, from casinos to Valve, is using legal loopholes.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to legal eagle all of them, I'm just appealing to your common sense. If it looks like gambling, mimics gambling, and the players say it's gambling, it's gambling.
It's probably
Now that we
gambling.
understand this, let's take a look at one of Valve's strangest positions they've ever had to take. See, back in 2016, when gambling
Oh, look at that scumbag.
sites hit mainstream news for scamming a bunch of their
The Counter-Strike Go YouTuber gambling scandals beyond contempt.
users and underage gambling, Valve looked really bad and said they were going to put a stop to Steam users who run a gambling business.
Gambling sites started leveraging the Steam trading system. Steam users to run a gambling business is not allowed by our API nor our user agreements. Cease operations through Steam. Again, no shit, you can't gamble objectively. You can, this is literally just diet gambling. Just call it diet gambling.
To do this, they sent out several cease and desist letters, and some of those sites ceased, but others didn't. 8 years later, some of the same casino sites are still operating.
Oh, look at ESGO Lounge, ESGO 500, Dota 2 Lounge. What? CSGO Big, CSGO Fast, CSGO Sweep, Big Fast. CSGO jackpot. There's CSGO pot. CSGO wild. Wow.
Rating. Meanwhile, influencers are clearly still getting paid millions of dollars. Esports teams are still sponsored by many of these gambling businesses that Valve supposedly wants to shut down. This is where we come to a question. Why does Valve say they want to shut down gambling, but they fail to actually do it?
Well, they actually did shut down gambling. It's just they don't actually have official gambling on their site. So they don't even want to acknowledge that is gambling-like behavior. The function of gambling is occurring. Actual gambling isn't. Functionally, gambling is happening.
Some will say they can't. Like, these offshore casinos are literally impossible to stop, but I don't buy that.
Can't Valve just discontinue and stop that system? Like, stop it with the cases. Stop making cases. Or stop selling cases. Whatever.
This is the same company who will happily destroy parents in court who sue them for pushing gambling. Where's Valve's legal appetite to go after these offshore casinos? I don't know. It seems to me they could have banned this all a long time ago using any number of IP arguments, legal attacks, or simply software patches. Why they haven't is where we have to get into speculation. I have two thoughts as to why. Firstly, I believe it's good for Valve to be in an eternal fight against gambling. It's good optics. If you never defeat the evil offshore casinos, no one has to wonder why your loot boxes look so much like slot machines. We got to defeat the evil offshore casino guys first, guys. In fact, this is the exact attitude they have.
Yeah, I mean, they're literally just diverting the attention away from themselves and making themselves look like the good guy and making all the offshore casinos look like the bad guy. It's like, no, these casinos don't make the cases. You guys are making the cases.
They had in 2016.
It feels like Valve itself has specifically designed this game to operate almost exactly like a slot machine.
Even back then, Valve got a lot of heat for exactly the same things we're talking about now, but everyone felt that the casinos were doing worse things. So before we demanded change from Valve, everyone felt that we should address the casino problem first. And Valve was happy to play the hero and send those cease and desist letters out. So if you can always pass the buck to someone more shady than you and say you're working on it, it's easy to avoid problems at home. That's my first guess. But there's a second, maybe more insidious answer. Shutting down offshore gambling is just not a priority because it's not very profitable. It may even cost Valve money.
Oh,
even
really?
Though they probably would deny this and say they don't have the data. You see, Valve may profit from these casinos indirectly. That is according to the journalist at People Makes Games. They made this argument better than I ever could, and I'm going to use a portion of their great documentary here.
Well, let me hear.
Steam over here and the betting sites over here on different websites, and both industries claim no relationship with the other. But to start with, the culture of skin betting is for many people a feature of Valve's games as advertised by YouTubers and streamers and virally by your friends who are gambling. Valve is going to be acquiring more visibility and players for its games from anyone who finds this extra functionality appealing. A thought I heard from almost all of the gamblers I spoke to was that Valve can't shut.
Bro, this is crazy. Like, how are these skins like multiples of thousands of dollars worth? Like, what idiot is buying these skins? What is happening? 5,000, 4,000, 4,000. I know it goes higher than this too. Like, put these in any other game. These are the most mid as fuck skins ever. And this is the delusion that these players have, thinking that a skin can be worth $1,000, like multiple thousands of dollars. These skins are not even that good, like cool to look at. This is like the most minimum effort that you could possibly put into a skin and just slap on a value on it. I mean, shit, if anything, I would guess that some of these are fucking AI generated. And I thought the Call of Duty community buying skins was retarded. These guys are retarded.
Down these casinos permanently because that would wreck the market value of skins, thereby hurting every player who owns any Valve skins. But to me, that just sounds like evidence that one big reason Valve skins are so valuable and why people want them so bad is Valve allowing the betting sites to exist.
Look, I'll be honest, I think he's right. Valve is indirectly profiting from these casinos, but it's not just one journalist's opinion. Even experts have concluded the same thing.
So, in January of 2016, the Washington State Gambling Commission, and that's the top regulatory body in Washington State where Valve is headquartered, they received a complaint that prompted them to begin an investigation into Valve Corporation. 21 months later, when that investigation concluded, what they said was Valve, quote, knowingly facilitates the illegal wagering of skins, end quote. And the question, that it really came down to for these regulators was, is Valve benefiting? In the opinion of the regulators, yes.
So this feels like a really big deal. Washington basically concluded what a lot of people have suspected, but why did nothing happen?
What the regulators told me is that the prosecutors didn't feel that they would be able to prosecute the case.
King County eventually declined the case. The main reason being that Valve is not directly profiting from illegal wagering sites. So essentially, Valve is benefiting, but not directly. So Valve is indirectly profiting from the wagering sites. We have to throw that word in, indirectly, directly. What is this fucking word that people lose their shit over? Oh my God. Directly, indirectly. Due to both federal and state prosecutors choosing to not pursue charges, I am closing this case. So retarded. You literally could have saved so many kids from themselves. But no, you had to make the bonehead retard decision to just close the case and not force Valve to do anything about the fucking case issue. Wow. Not directly. So Valve is benefiting, but not directly. So Valve is indirectly profiting from illegal wagering sites. That just seems like stupid.
Case successfully, so they did not pursue a case. Now, that doesn't take away from the findings of the regulators who are the experts on this. It just means that a case was never taken to court.
So even though regulators found one thing, prosecutors have declined to pursue it. Now, of course, I did think all of this was pretty shocking, so of course I wanted to ask Valve follow-up questions, but they didn't respond to my request for an interview or for comment. However,
no shit.
I did find interviews from about 8 years ago during the first scandal where Valve was asked very similar questions about whether they benefited from all this gambling. And the way they respond is kind of telling.
For Counter-Strike in particular, I'm curious, you feel like gambling has had a positive impact?
Oh, they hate when they hear the G word. That's probably like a curse word around these boys.
Happened to hang it all. As you feel like it's grown interest in the game over the past few years that it's been available?
No, not really. I don't think so. I didn't even know anything about gambling. Oh, we just don't have the data. Well, we have no real interest in acquiring the data in the first place or the second place. So, yeah. I mean, everybody just keeps spending money on skins and cases, and yeah, we just like the money.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's the question?
What is the question about gambling specifically, so I can specifically answer your question to dodge the meaning of the question?
Gambling led to greater interest in Counter-Strike.
Has it?
Yes.
We don't know.
We don't know and we don't want to know, but according to all the case openings, probably. Okay, Mr. Turtleneck.
We don't have any data.
And we have no desire to acquire that data because that would literally out ourselves. Why would we do that? That's retarded.
To support that.
Yeah, but
yeah. So I don't know.
Look at their faces. If anybody goes this, like, they're just trying to back out of that whole line of questioning. You guys are guilty right at the, like, your body language gives it away. It couldn't matter less what comes out of your mouth. You're give it away with your own body language, bro. You're so stupid.
Isn't that incredible? A company that nearly has all the data has no idea if $1 billion gambling industry helps them. This is a company that hires...
I mean, we woke up one day and we just realized we had like $1 billion extra from cases, and I think that was a W, guys. What do you think? W. Ooh.
Literal economists to work on their video game economies. They say in those job descriptions, one thing we have at Valve is data, lots and lots of data. Yeah,
but not gambling data. Look at him. He turned his eyes up. That's the classic. Avoid the question. I feel guilty. Look at the body language, bro.
On this one issue,
We don't have any data to support that.
and we're supposed to believe they've never conclusively...
And you're going to tell me this isn't gambling? You're going to tell me the sky is fucking tie-dye when I can look out of my window and see that the sky is blue? No. That's not how this works.
found if gambling hurts or helps them? I find it hard to believe. Especially when, in the same interview a little bit later, the CEO, Gabe Newell, claims data isn't really hard to get in Valve.
Right. If there's something I need to know, I can find out about it.
We don't have any data.
And information is pretty freely available inside the company. Because, you know, it's just not hard to, if there's something you need to know, to find out about it. But there's no, you pull your information, there's no push towards you.
Right. Of course, it's not hard to find the information. These are the people who own Steam.
Yeah.
They have all the information.
Yeah.
So here's a fun rule for you to think about. Anytime a company with this much data tells you we don't have the data, it means we don't like what the data says, or we don't want to know what the data says, so we've avoided looking.
Yeah.
And by the way, Valve admits only moments later that the Counter-Strike player base goes up when Valve releases things that make the game, quote, a stickier experience.
That growth in the player base typically comes either after the game has been on sale, or after we've added some features to the game that make the game a stickier experience.
What does that mean? Stickier experience? Like glue, like tacky glue, like strongman, like you put the tacky on your hands, you're like, oh, it's sticky. I like this game. It feels sticky. What do you mean by that?
Okay, we're getting somewhere.
What, like FOMO? When you release a limited time case or some dumb shit like that? Oh, it's so sticky. The FOMO. It's I could feel the aura of the FOMO, of the super giga case, the clutch case. Wow, wowie.
Growth happens when Valve makes their game a stickier experience. Now, I've got a follow-up. What's a stickier experience than a casino? It's so sticky, people have a problem stopping. You can't honestly say our player base grows with the stickier experience, and also we have no data that gambling has grown interest in Counter-Strike, because those two sentences are not compatible. And oh, by the way, we've been fighting gambling for 8 years and we keep getting outsmarted by 20-something-year-olds in current.
Yeah, these are the guys that are the heads of all of these, overseas, out of the country casinos. This is it. It's not like some 40, 50-year-old dude in a tuxedo, big brain. No. I can get this table at Walmart, guys. Okay, this is that white plastic fold-out table with the little metal arms, and there's that little cylinder piece where you like stick it in there, and it's like it's locked. This is that kind of table.
Curacao, like you're just not trying that hard then. But we've even got more evidence for their lack of effort here, because Valve will occasionally take action on casinos, most often when they've been pressured to do so by bad press. Just take the PGL majors which started this whole thing. It was a horrible look for Valve, directly caused by the casinos. The result of that was almost immediately an update released only days later that for the first time in a while actually did something. Basically, Valve made it so that when you traded something in Counter-Strike, it was hard to then gamble that item.
Wait, what was it? Let me see.
Did something. Basically,
Purchased and traded Counter-Strike items will not be visible to other users who view your Steam inventory for 10 days. Oh my God. Instead of ceasing it entirely, they just made a, instead of instant transaction, they made it a 10-day transaction. Oh, wow. That'll put a stop to it.
Valve made it so that when you traded something in Counter-Strike, it was hard to then gamble that item. Basically, they changed a way that items showed up in your inventory. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it kind of messed up the way casinos were tracking items. Now, the end result of this is that casinos, along with skin traders in general, are slightly punished. Now, my point here is this patch could have been done at any time. The reason it happened a few days after the PGL Major was this...
is because it got a lot of attention. Unfortunately, it was put in the limelight. It was put in the spotlight. Everybody saw it. And then Steam had to go, oh, no. You guys are acting like kids. We can't be doing this now. We have to take action. Oh, you're going to make us take action. Oh. Hey, Valve, why couldn't you have done that like years ago? Well, we didn't have idiots running up on the stage 10 years ago, buddy. That's why we didn't do it.
This disruption. This was a clear signal from Valve to the casinos. You stepped out of line, you caused trouble, we'll cause you trouble, right? I should note, the casinos are going to find workarounds to this, but there aren't infinite workarounds. It's obvious to everyone, including the casinos, that if Valve really wanted to shut them down, they could, since Valve ultimately controls the ecosystem by which everyone trades and tracks items. So if they wanted to definitively shut down the casinos, they could, but it just is going to require work. Work that Valve doesn't seem to have a huge appetite to do, maybe because it would impact other players, maybe because they just historically haven't done that work, unless they're forced to by press, governments, or the casinos themselves to do so. Now look, it might feel like I'm being a little harsh towards Valve here, or I'm putting a lot of the responsibility on them.
I mean, because they deserve to have all the responsibility put on them. They created the problem in the first place. This offshore betting, gambling, casino bullshit is emergent player behavior. It was a side thing that evolved. The intention of the skins being put in the game, you know, they didn't intend for people to make casinos and shit. It's just what happened.
And if it feels that way, it's because I am. I do think they need to be the ones to change for two reasons. One, no matter where you look in the chain of responsibility from influencers all the way to governments, everything points to them. Valve is easily the most equipped to solve things because they are a single stakeholder. Everywhere else you look, there's coordination problems. At the influencer level, if you don't take Gamba money, other influencers will. At the casino level,
Oh yeah, like it is impossible for one person to think they will be the single outlier, like point of justice, shining star in the night, where I will turn the gambling sponsorship down. That's me. I'm the good guy. I'm Superman. Bro, if you don't take that sponsorship, the next guy in the line will. 100%.
you want to be more regulated, your competitor doesn't. Even at the esports level, you don't take a gambling sponsorship, your competitor will. Even at the government level, if one country bans it, just take a VPN somewhere else where it's not banned. Not to mention, even when governments do ban it, and by the way, I think they should be part of the solution, but even when they do ban it, Valve can try to maliciously avoid regulation with new loopholes. which is not a hypothetical. They've literally done this. In France, for instance, where loot boxes that can be traded for money are banned, Valve updated their game just in France to put in what they call an X-ray scanner.
What the heck is an X-ray scanner? Introducing the X-ray scanner for users in France. The X-ray scanner allows user to reveal the item inside any container. But if cases are just gambling doodads, how does that work? I am completely lost.
Where you can see the contents of your loot box before you open it.
Shouldn't that be a thing? Like, this case has these items with this chance, that chance, that chance, that chance of those items actually being like the chance of getting that item when you roll on it. So this is double. This is twofold. There's 2 layers. I didn't know this. A case could technically not have the item you want on it. And then, let's say you get a case that has an item on it, or in there that you want, you have to roll. It's twofold. And players like this. God, players are so stupid. Players will pay for fucking anything, dude. Oh. No wonder gamers have still a bad reputation. When it comes to things like this, they are so retarded.
Making the results technically not random. The catch is, though, you can't open another loot box until you pay to finish opening the one you've scanned. It's just a work around the law to allow the same gambling, just legally, I guess. But it turns out this may have been a tactical mistake because it kind of gave away the game Valve is playing. Because remember, they're trying to pretend not to be gambling, but this loophole they're using is literally a loophole slot machine companies use, where they will do what's called pre-reveal the result.
What the fuck? What is this slot? Mountain lion, deer, ram, star, bell, horseshoe, cherry. What is this?
Of a slot spin before you spin, and say it's not gambling as well. In states like Missouri in America, this is how gambling companies were trying to avoid the gambling classification. Funnily enough, while learning about this loophole, I found this. Quote, the gambling companies don't like each other and will claim one company is breaking the rules while they apparently follow them. I'm getting flashbacks to this story as well.
Yep.
But the point is, if Valve is resorting to using gambling...
You know what that's like? The 2 layers of gambling in these CSGO cases? This is like playing blackjack, but you know how you get like one card face up and then other card face down? This is like you get like one card. This is like getting both cards and you don't get to see them. And then you want to say, do you want to hit or stay? That's what it feels like. It's like, I don't know. Maybe I could have 21 in my pocket. Maybe I got pocket kings, pocket queens. Oh, that's what it feels like.
Companies' loopholes, from the pachinko parlor loophole to the pre-spin loophole. What does that say about what they're selling? Even Valve's own users are realizing this. In a post about
they are realizing this, but they don't give a shit because the gambling is still booming.
French law where they...
So instead of paying to take a random chance on the current roll, you are just doing it for the next roll. They seriously skirted the laws that's stupidly easy. So random chance on current roll, you're just doing it for the next roll. Okay. Sounds like Valve is using loopholes to taken straight from casinos, while I'm sure still maintaining that it's totally not gambling. Seems pretty shitty. Yeah.
Dodged it with this pre-reveal. People are saying, quote, they seriously skirted the laws that stupidly easily. Sounds like Valve is using loopholes taken.
And again, the random chance to get the thing, that aspect of it adds no value to the player at all. If you want a skin, put it on the store with a fixed amount and just buy it outright. No, we gotta have it be random in a case, and then I could potentially not be in the case sometimes, and then it could be in the case sometimes, but even if it is in the case, it's a really small chance, and oh my God.
Straight from casinos. So that's why I'm saying, yes, countries should regulate predatory loot boxes designed as slot machines. Yes, influencers shouldn't take dirty deals. Yes, casinos should in theory self-regulate. But if we're looking where to lay out a plan to fix Valve's underage gambling problem, it all comes back to Valve. No one else can unilaterally shut this down except for them. And at the same time,
It's literally a button. It's literally a button. Like, stop making cases. Shut the whole system down. You know, you can keep making skins. Just sell them outright in the store. You know, you could still make a $10,000 skin. Just put it up there at a fixed price. You will get idiots that buy that still. 100%.
No one stands to make so much money from keeping it open and lying about what exactly these cases are, using the same arguments casinos have been making for decades as Valve. And that's why I'm being so harsh, because frankly, they deserve it. This isn't some indie video.
Valve is worth $7.7 billion in 2022. Valve generated around USD $13 billion in total revenue in 2022. About USD 10 billion of the revenue was from Steam Store. The most played Valve-owned game on Steam as of December 22 was CSGO. Multiplayer shooter where the game has attracted 600,000 concurrent players on average per week. Woo! And the game ain't even that good, to be honest. It's like, fucking tack shooter. Are you kidding me? You got stop and shoot.
Video game studio that's struggling to survive. Valve is pound for pound one of the most profitable companies in the world, period. Not just because of gambling, in spite of it. With just Steam, they're already larger than most publicly traded gaming companies, affecting millions of people a day without gambling. So it isn't crazy to expect basic responsibility from a company who touches so many lives. Unfortunately, Valve is not only uniquely able to take action, they're also uniquely equipped to avoid it. They're privately owned, an international company, and are known for not responding to journalists in situations like this or reacting to the press in any way. So,
oh yeah, they will see this though. They will see this video and they will not like it at all.
For my last argument, I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to let Daddy Gabe do the talking in the hopes of inspiring some change at this megacorp. Here's Gabe's thoughts on Valve and their responsibility.
People at Valve have to get used to working without a safety net. There's nothing between you and a customer. You can do something. You can come in that morning, and by 2:00 in the afternoon, you have a million customers, right? And
they're all emailing you.
They're all me emailing you. And
I mean, that's easy. Just don't answer your emails. That's the safety net. That's pretty easy.
You probably should fix it, right? But nobody's looking over your shoulder. And for some people, that's liberating. For some people, it's terrifying.
Yeah, I really can't think of anything that better captures the Valve gambling story. You've screwed a million customers. You should probably fix it, but no one's looking over your shoulder. It has been 8 years since Valve set out to end these black market casinos built around their game. And still, the industry is alive and well. In fact, the harassment and threats in that industry are worse than ever.
I wonder how big or how much money Valve would have made if Valorant never came out. Because when Valorant came out, Valorant put a huge dent in the Counter-Strike community. For sure. 100%, dude. Valve was probably fuming, steaming, seething. That game came out and put a dent in their green numbers.
Meanwhile, Counter-Strike's own competitive players influencers, and casinos all say there's an underage gambling problem, but Valve seems no closer to fixing that either.
They don't
Maybe
have that
that's
data.
because the only way to fix it is to acknowledge that Counter-Strike's loot boxes are a little too close to slot machines. And look, I'm not even saying that if they want to go that route, they can't. But at least ID your customers, at least acknowledge what it actually is. Otherwise, you're just trying to have your cake and eat it too. You want gambling without any of the responsibility that comes with it.
Yep.
And we all know that that kind of cake is a lie.
Mm.
Look, I know this is a long shot, and maybe it's pointless. I look back 8 years and I see many of the same stories of victims, villains, and Valve with zero real change. But knowing the odds are slim hasn't stopped kids from getting addicted. So it's not going to stop me either. This is a gamble I'm willing to take.
Valve did not reply or comment on this story. Well, yeah. They're probably thinking, God damn it, Coffee. No. Well, even. Damn, dude. That's a lot of people. Like, holy. Bro, this was a crazy good trilogy. We don't have any data to support that. Brother was smiling and avoiding eye contact. That was unbelievable. Yeah, that was hilarious. Charlie in a few hours. The Valve situation is crazy. Yeah. Yeah, man. This is probably like the best series of videos for the best argument for Valve to do something about the damn loot boxes and the gambling. This was amazing. This was like, damn. This is another huge scam. Hopefully Coffee can take, I don't know if he's going to be able to take Valve down. I mean, shit, he was able to take down like tons of other like big guys like the FTX bro and tons of other scams. Crazy. I don't know if he's going to be able to put a dent in this one. We'll see, man. Fucking, how many views right now? Almost 5 mil, and it's only gonna go up. Woo! But oh, look at all the 4.2K copers that are like, no, keep gambling in the game. Oh, that's so funny. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, good stuff, dude. This was like the Lord of the Rings of what do you call it? Of cracking down on scams. This was awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.